Now that the dust has settled and everybody can calm down, combine 3 herbs, and just sit back and relax over the announcement of Capcom officially unveiling that they are going to be producing and creating a true Resident Evil 2 remake, to much rejoice around the world, especially from survival horror junkies such as myself and many of you out there. There was some bittersweet good news, bad news type of stuff that I want to go and discuss pertaining to the Resident Evil 2 fan remake. Now, Resident Evil 2 Reborn, which was getting all sorts of attention all over the internet, especially from myself. I was keeping tabs on it every single time that they had put out an update. Seeing Resident Evil 2 using the Unreal 4 engine was fucking phenomenal. I mean, the game looked like it was running around in the Resident Evil 4 style of gameplay with like the behind-the-shoulder perspective, and just seeing all the tried and true locations of Resident Evil 2 just done up for a modern generation was breathtaking, frankly. And they even were adding in their own little touches, and I thought it looked awesome. Downside to it is Capcom actually asked them if they would cease production of it. Now, a lot of people turned around and said, "Oh, those son of a bitches, those motherfuckers!" And I went to go and clear the air about some things when discussing that, because even the folks behind the production of Resident Evil 2 Reborn had said, this is actually really good news. And you kind of wonder, how the fuck is them saying, please stop making this good news at all? Well, first is the common sense logic behind all of it is that this would kind of undermine Capcom producing the game, because you figure there's obviously a conflict of interest if there's going to be a fan remake that's free, being produced and put out for everybody to just get whenever. It's going to make it kind of difficult for... I mean, you got 2 things being produced at the same time, frankly. Just look at that. Obviously, there's going to be a fucking problem. But the good side to it, well, like I said, bittersweet, the good side to it is that Capcom themselves actually is inviting them out and flying them out to go and discuss ideas when producing this. So they got to see the value and merit and talent within that group of people. They got to see what the hell they were bringing to the table, and now we're bringing them on board to go and help them with the production of this game. And that right there, if you were on the ground running during the development of something that you as a fan were making out of love and admiration and respect, and now the head honchos, the people behind it, the real deal crew, it's like, hey, why don't you come on board? That is a fucking dream come true, and I can't even be happier for them. That is one of those things, like, that's a lifelong dream for anybody out there that does a fan project based off of any kind of franchise or property out there, an IP that they love to death, being recognized by the original creators, let alone being asked to help. And that's phenomenal. And that means even better things for us. For Resident Evil 2 Reborn looked awesome as shit. If that means that some of their ideas and all the things that they want to go and put into this are going to be evaluated and taken into account and even implemented, that's fucking great. That's exactly the kind of shit I want to go and see happen. I mean, the only time that I'm ever bothered when a company will go and say, alright, well, we're sending out a cease and desist order to go and have this shut down, is when you're not doing anything with it. If the company, and this is a rare occasion, think about this, this is an extremely rare occasion where somebody is producing, you know, some kind of a sequel or remake or, you know, a prequel, whatever it is, and then the company themselves actually is in production of that same exact thing, you know, that doesn't really happen. But when it's like dormant IPs and shit that they're just not touching, and then the companies come in and swing their big fucking corporate cock around, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Look, I get it that you want to protect your copyright and shit, but when nobody's making any money off of it and it's just being done out of love, all it does is make you look like a fucking bully. But this isn't actually the case with Capcom. And I know many people are like, oh man, Capcom's such a fuck up company. No, they're doing the right thing. Whether or not you want to go and cling to their past failures and miserable, stupid fucking ass backwards choices that many of us were pissed off back in like 2011, 2012, but they've been turning shit around over the past couple years, and that's a fact. And that's something you gotta go and applaud the good efforts of the companies, because you can't sit there and be angry at them for doing shit like this, because it just makes sense. They're at least bringing these people on board. They're at least listening to fans. They're at least putting this shit out based off of the response from the Resident Evil 1 HD remake. That shit right there is a good thing. This is the kind of stuff that we've been wanting, and they're delivering. little by little, they're getting back to what the hell they needed to be. Now, you know, naturally, we still have the Mega Man franchise to go and work on, but at least we're more likely going to be seeing an official Devil May Cry 5, the Resident Evil 2 remake. Hopefully, they'll understand that survival horror is so much more important thanks to things like Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2, the Resident Evil remake, and then this, so it'll go back to horror whenever it comes to Resident Evil 7 being released, whenever the hell. And, you know, we had the whole Strider thing. I want to see more Phoenix Wright because I fucking love the living shit out of Phoenix Wright. If we can somehow get a reboot of the Onimusha series, that'd be super. Some more Dino Crisis. But, you know, I'm willing to go and check things off bit by bit. I am getting the Resident Evil 2 remake though, so I mean, I'm happy as a pig in shit. So there we go. But it's happening. That's fucking awesome. Resident Evil 2 Reborn may have been shelved, but it stands as the testament that fans do matter. Our opinions do matter, and these companies are recognizing it big time. Obviously, fan response, all the shit on social media, they were listening. They're recognizing talent out there, and I want to see this happen more often because there's plenty of times that, guess what? Fans have great ideas. Maybe these companies ought to be listening because, well, just because we don't have degrees within, you know, video game producing doesn't mean we don't know what the fuck we're talking about. Either way, this is AlphaOmegaSin, as always, nerds, nerdettes, and gamers game the fuck on.